baby.
Bitch in my city, walk slow when she see me, shorty like bad boy. So I'm Diddy fucking you with shorty, get with me, yeah we live. Sauce walking me, shorty match my dream. Push start in my phone.
I got you. Detroit was good. On the check-in, I got you. I'ma send that over to you, no problem.
Yeah, you live.
Turn up.
Peace sign, shorty let dive in like Trey songs. Treat the pussy like IG. Double tap cause I like her. FaceTime all daytime. This us time, fuck daytime. Shorty say something, don't waste time. Curve other niggas like waistline. No love.
I'd rather be with you, baby. Shorty, you lit. I'd rather be with you, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Man, no capping. I'd rather be with you, bro.
I'd rather be with you, baby.
I'll leave the radio. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause this is my first love right here. Be with you, baby. Be with you, baby.
So we're going to bring that down just a little something right now. It's the Butters Basic Show every Sunday, fun day, 2 to 3 p.m. here at DTF Radio. And we're having such a great time. DJ Oso's on the ones and twos. It's been awesome. Fantastic. And I want to get right into it because this is the platform for the unknown to get known. My name is Butter. Nice to talk to everybody today. Happy Sunday Fun Day here. And you can follow me at Gazebo, Gazebo. And that's with 2 Z's so you don't sleep. Don't forget it. 11210 because I'm a Brooklyn girl all day, every day. Please believe it. That's my zip code. You can find me there at any point in time. I might be on Flatbush Junction at your local Target. Cut me a check. How about that?
Shout out to Target.
How about that? You know what I'm saying? Or your local 99-cent store. That's what it is. You know, we're internationally local here at the Butters Basic Show, please believe it, because we are worldwide on the www.dtfradio.com. And sitting to the left of me, the best of me, Peachy Suze.
Hi, everybody.
Tell them where they can find you, my love.
It is Peachy Suze from Sunday's Brunch. We come on 12 to 1 every day on DTF Radio. You can find me as Peachy Suze, Peachiessuze. My hashtag
sounds
is
like a
not
little
as cool.
song today.
No.
Like you got it down pat now. Peachiessuze at Instagram.
No, Butter.
I know.
Butter's so quick because she has a whole thing 2 Z, so you don't see. Because I'm a Brooklyn girl.
All day, every day.
It's a whole hymn. Like I'm just like Peachy Suze, yeah.
And also, please let the people know where they can find you, hun. Thanks for that set that you did today.
Yes, you can find me at DJ Oso, DJOSOMP3, the only one in America. Check me out.
And he is the crowd pleaser. I've also, you can follow that hashtag, the crowd pleaser. I've also given you a hashtag too. I'm watching it build. The Luther Vandross of the ones and twos. And it's all
take
good.
That with pride.
Because he is a crowd pleaser. So appropriately so, I give you that. Yeah. So now our guest today, who's sitting with us, goes by the name of KIJANA Brown. Please pull your mic down, honey. Right to your mic. Put that, yes. And I wanted to have somebody on here prolifically in the industry that has knowledgeable and accessible knowledge as well too to give, because you've lived through decades of time. I won't say how many, but you have
quite a few.
Yeah. Tell the people some things about yourself that you want them to know. This is the platform for the unknown to get known.
Okay, well.
Don't be shy now.
Nah, don't be shy. Okay, all right. I can't play shy guy today. All right, so my history comes from New York. And growing up in New York, I was blessed to have a father and a mother that were very much into African and black history. My father had a 5,000 book library in our summer home in the Hamptons, and I went through it and learned it.
That's before motherfuckers knew what the Hamptons was. That's real. Go ahead, hun.
And so I was blessed to have a mother that was a teacher.
Sorry to call them motherfuckers.
Yeah, no,
we curse on this show. Go ahead, hun.
My mother went to college at 15. My father went to college at 16, and I followed after and went to college at 16. And at Howard University, where both my parents went.
HBCU, shout out.
Shout out. I became a young radical. I don't know if that's correct, but I studied so much about my culture and history, and after 400 years of slavery, I had a saying back then. I was on Howard campus in 1978 at 16 years old, and I said, what civil rights means to this century, reparations will mean to the next century. So I didn't realize how deep that was until I'm in the next century, and I'm realizing that reparations the time is now. So I don't want to get into all the stuff that I did, but I was a political action director of the student government, and I led the largest demonstration on Howard University's campus. You know, and I was.
What were you guys demonstrating at that point in time?
Well, that time, the largest demonstration was George Bush came to speak at Howard University, and I had the commencement exercise get up and turn their back about between 1/3 and 2/3 of the audience. George Bush and the CIA ain't no justice in the USA. George Bush and the CIA ain't no justice. So they grabbed my black ass up. I had a beret on cocked to the side. I don't know who I thought I was. But
You know who you were.
You know.
And my thing is that, you know, a lot of, you know, I have limited time right now with you, so I have to let everybody know that it's a certain thing that goes on when inside you feel a ways you talk about what it is that you know about yourself and this being on this planet, that you've been placed to do a certain thing and do a certain action to make and put light onto the things that you believe in. You are called a revolutionary, right?
That's
so
right.
now, one of the reasons why I have you on here, and I want everybody to know, like I said, I have very limited time now, is to talk about the Amber Guyger case against the shooting and murder of Botham Jean, right? So real quick, you know, let's get your thoughts on it while I cue up some audio on what I really want to talk about here, which is a spiritual warfare that we have against us as, what should I even call it? It's like black is just a color, but African is a place where we are disassociated from. So like, you know, the displacement of the people, the colored people here in the United States, the injustice, the pattern of injustice that has been continually given out. And I'm not saying that Amber wasn't dealt justice, but the pacification ex post facto of the justice that she was dealt delivers another type of blow. The brother of Botham Jean has a right to do what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, give a hug to her. You know, I'm gonna say it like this. You know, first thing I thought was, oh, he putting roots on her right now. I can't wait. Can't wait to see what, you know, is she gonna grow an extra head, or, you know, is her vagina gonna be stinging on one side, or what are we gonna be doing here? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna tell you, nobody's paying my bills here, so I'm gonna tell how I see it. Caribbean people, African people know what time it is when you are getting close to the frenemy. Feel me? No words left to say. Please give your opinion while I queue up this this information.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, you can.
Before you get into that.
Sure.
The first question I want to ask is, do you feel that the time that she got sentenced to, do you feel like the time fits the crime?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Please tell us why. Absolutely not. You feel the time does not.
Well, the reason why the African American or the African community in this country, I think maybe worldwide, were excited that she got arrested, because this is unusual. It's not normal that a white person gets convicted of murder for killing a black. So after all of these years, this is what we have to deal with now. We have the court officer stroking her hair, and then we have the gentleman saying, not only that he forgave her, which I can get that, I love you.
Well, he said, I love you as a person.
I love you as a person. Still, this is
person I don't know.
and a person that just murdered your brother. Now, I want to just delve into this whole thing because it's psychological warfare. I'm sitting in front of you. I'm speaking English. I'm speaking my slave master's language. I'm dressed in my slave master's clothing. And yes, we as a people worshiping our slave master's religion. So before they gave us the Bible, they had discussions about whether we should give the Bible to the blacks. And when they did, they said, once we give the Bible to the blacks, once they follow along with this doctrine of forgive thy neighbor and forgive thy brother, we no longer have to be their slave master. The book will enslave them. This is my thought on it.
Here's what they like. Say that for the bitches in the back. Say it one more time for the bitches in the back.
We've been indoctrinated. I'll say it like this. He who prescribes the circumference of your learning abilities controls the diameter of your learning activities. So our slave master has been training us and teaching us. Who do I say is the most beautiful woman in the world? Snow White. We are taught the Roman Greco conception of beauty. We're taught our ancestors' slave masters' religion. So we're in bondage mentally. Mental slavery is existing. So now when we pray, we see in the pews that Jesus doesn't have a fro. He doesn't have dreads. He has blue eyes and long blonde hair. He mimics the look of our slave masters' ancestors. Now, we have an issue there. We have to go through, I wouldn't say brainwashing, because we have to study our culture and history and fall in love with ourselves. So that now when we look at our people, we don't look at them and call them another nigger. We call them another brother. And it's got to happen now.
Okay, so real quick, right? I'm gonna play a little clip that I want everybody to understand, you know, just listen to me just roll through these clips really quickly, right? So that way my time doesn't get, you understand? All right, cool.
I'm trying to be short and sweet so it doesn't.
No doubt, I got you. So now we're gonna go to this clip from Roland Martin, who is somebody I love to watch. There's a professor here. Unfortunately, he doesn't realize that the family is from St. Lucia. Automatically, you know, sometimes, you know, everybody that's black from the Caribbean, sometimes people think we're all Jamaican. But this guy happens to think that Botham Jean's family is from Haiti, but it's okay. Let's just, you know, take a... No, they're St. Lucian, and they also are a Francophone-speaking country. Francophone meaning they speak French, but the English is also their language. So, you know, we're going to go into that real quick. All right? Here we go.
That's one of the benefits of teaching in a black space. You know, I made the decision to work in black spaces, like in black media. This is where we're having this conversation. First of all, white opinion, I have no use for any of it at this point. They have nothing, and there's nothing to be
sorry
said
that he said
really
that, white people.
Seriously.
But I'm not sorry.
But within the black community this morning, you know, one of our students asked, you know, I was in class, and she said, why did he hug her? And the other young sister, who happens to be from Nigeria, parents from Nigeria, she's actually from Texas. She said, well, anybody knows that in order to get a good curse, you got to get close, because you got to get something off their person, off their body. And everybody cracked up. Now, this is a black conversation. Let's be clear. These are Haitians. First of all, you're talking about a teenager.
St. Lucians.
Now, you know, I had a brother come in, a South African brother, a professor on our faculty, Brother Nyandu, this afternoon, and we continued to talk about this in this context. He said, first of all, when you have a family, you don't let the children speak in public like that.
Damn
you
right.
should have been an elder. And if you listen to what Allison John said, you really got a better sense of how this kind of forgiveness thing operated within a larger context. That's number one.
In fact, Greg, hold on, Greg, I want you to finish that thought.
Yes.
Because I want to read what she said. This is what she said. What Brant did today, Brant is Botham Jean's brother. What Brant did today was remarkable. It's one that we are taught to do. It's one that we must do. But I don't want the community. Hold on 1 second. I don't want the community to be mistaken of what happened in the courtroom. Forgiveness for us as Christians is a healing for us. But as my husband said, there are consequences. It does not mean that everything else we have suffered has to go unnoticed. We're leaving Dallas this week, but you all must live in Dallas, and you all must try to make Dallas a better place. What you saw and what you heard in the courtroom really showed what your system is, and you must seek to do something about it. You saw a contaminated crime scene. You saw deletion of evidence by persons in high office. You saw turning off of body cams and cameras in the vehicles. You saw investigations that were marred with corruption, and throughout the trial, what I kept saying to myself is, Botham was a child of God, and we know that he did not deserve what he got. The most hurtful part is for me that even after he was shot, he was left to die. That was Botham Jean's mother at a church last night in Dallas. Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna
So I'm going to pause on that because this is not the Roland Martin show, but I did want, everybody to hear a clip from bigging up the fact that Roland Martin is on social media wearing his dashiki, feeling connected with the people. You know who he's talking to. He's talking to everybody. He is not just an activist for black people. He's a human activist. So I respect him for that. What are your thoughts on what, as far as a curse goes?
Well, I just want to say this. Haitians were free in this hemisphere before this country was free from England.
Just making sure that everyone knows his family is from St. Lucia. The professor that spoke made a misspeak and said that they
he's
were
Haitian?
Haitian.
But I
Okay.
feel like all the media has been saying he's Haitian.
He's St. Lucian, and this is the ignorance
Okay, so I didn't know.
of everyone that is reporting on this thing from the start. They said the gentleman was from St. Lucia. And yes, it's a francophone country, which means they speak French. But at the same time, it's no different than the struggle of anyone else that is a foreigner.
Right.
So continue.
I'm not familiar with the
St. Lucian community?
St. Lucia community
It's okay.
or voodoo, but I will say this. The first policemen were the slave catchers in this country. The first relationship, they're the ones, relationship that the African American community has with the police is rotten to the core. It should be illegal for a white person to arrest or do anything to a black person.
Wow, well, that's a strong statement.
No, it was. It's no stronger than when.
Oso's blasting
It's no
off
stronger when
like-
the first black policeman in this country could not arrest a white person. They could not. It was forbidden for them. They could only arrest people in the black community. It's time for us to turn the tables on them because we cannot allow them to police us just like Jews can't police
I was just about to
Palestinians.
ask, in this country here, you barely ever see news about a Jewish police system, but they have it. Okay? They've got their own police, they've got their own hospitals, they've got their own community, they've got their own everything because they know who they claim to be. We have an absence-mindedness of who we are. And so the depth of my conversation today was really to discuss our spiritual warfare. So I'm going to say what I have to say now because
Yes,
like
ma'am.
I said, our time is very limited today. I feel like we are fighting a spiritual warfare. We've been in this for a long time. Since the end of slavery, it's been unaddressed. I'm not saying that everyone came from Africa that came here was a slave. What I am saying is that everyone that was already here that was in indentured servitude, everyone here that received the polio blanket to cover themselves and die from it, infection, disease, anything that came with imperialism is a problem to the mental state of anyone that exists right now. And there's been no reparation of mental culpability to deal with what everyone is dealing with right now. So when you experience the animosity from people that are upset about a white woman that has killed a black man for absolutely no reason, and it may seem like I'm an angry black woman, he's an angry black man. No, we're just talking about the pattern that has been consistent with history. We're talking about what needs to be changed right now, what needs to be scrutinized at this time to reflect the change. I'm not mad at her sentencing. The judge did what she felt. What I am upset with is the fact that you have all put on a grandiose show for everybody by hugging, patting, fixing her hair. What other court where they're giving football numbers out to a motherfucker that has done less do you see something like this go on? This is, in my country, my family's from Trinidad, this is called a pappy show. You understand? And a pappy show is when the puppets come out and dance around and you got the strings attached. I don't do Pappy show. You understand? My grandmother, I knew her. My great-grandmother, I knew her. My father knows who we are. My mother knows who we are. I know who I am here in American society as a first-generation American watching all of this go down. And I refuse to not have commentary on this. What I see going on is unfucking believable. How dare a judge come down and give hugs out to the criminal that has just been convicted of the criminal activity in a public eye. That is where I have a problem, because you guys are putting on a Pappy show for everybody that's watching, and that I'm not a part of. You can do it behind closed doors, but don't confirm to me that the Boulay and everyone else that's watching should feel well rested, especially when the witness on your stand is murdered 2 days after he speaks. Don't fuck with me like that. Don't fuck with me like that.
Can I be devil's advocate?
Be devil. Hold on. Also, ask your question, hun. Ask your question, hun. He was murdered on Friday. 2 days after he gave his thing. Okay, have they found the murderer? Don't fuck with me like that.
But can I say something? Do we always have to make everything, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, and this is how I really feel, do we always have to make everything about a conspiracy theory?
No.
Let me ask you
I'm
something.
not a conspiracy theorist. I'm giving facts.
No.
What fact have I not delivered?
No, you're giving facts on the case,
So then don't
right?
call it a conspiracy theory if you know that it's been straight facts given
But do we
here.
have to say that maybe, just maybe, the neighbor who died...
You are being a conspiracy theorist by saying maybe. Go ahead.
Maybe the neighbor who died because of something that's not related to the case. I feel like as black people... Coincidental things that happen, and then saying possibilities like maybe makes you being a conspiracy theorist, whereas I've been just giving only facts. But this is the thing. I look at it like this. If the family is able to get over it, if the family could feel love, no. If the family
is not over it. The mother has sat there and said everything she can't get over.
The mother said it, right? But you have the brother, you have the father, right? And they're saying this, like, we understand a mistake was made, an accident happened. Instead of looking at it like, yo, you're getting time. We're mad. Like, that's not enough. Yo, it is
who's mad?
It is.
Let me ask you who's mad.
Everybody's mad.
Stop. Who's mad?
Yo,
who's mad?
Everybody is. I feel like
just say every black person is mad.
A lot of black people are mad.
Black
and
people
I feel
are
like
mad.
Women,
white people are mad. Indian people are mad. Who else is mad?
Women, we are a little bit more compassionate to it because we're more like, okay, we can see how this is a situation that went wrong. But I feel like there's so many people who's like, she needs to rot in hell. She needs to do this.
That's unfortunate for them.
No, let me finish. People do not know what their reaction will be until they're in that situation. Unless you're in that situation, you can't say that. When I went in that situation, I would have known this is not my apartment. We can't say that. We don't know what would have happened if we're in that situation.
Here's what we do know. Here's
We
what we do
wouldn't
know.
have-
Wait, guys. Here's what we do know. And I'm going to just run this down really quickly because I need you to understand fully what we have as a fact.
We have what media is giving us.
Hun, I've been doing research on this since it happened. I'm giving you facts right now. The fact is we have and I am media. And anybody that's watching can go ahead and cite me because I've been giving the same facts as regular TV, but I've done deeper research too to know and deliver this to you. Here's some facts. Amber Guyger is a policewoman, formerly of the Dallas police system, right? So when she got off of work, she worked a little overtime. She continued to text back and forth coherently with another coworker talking about how they'd like to fuck. She got to her apartment building. She drove up to the wrong floor. Apparently, when you're on that floor, there happens to be numbers that let you know that you're on that floor. So you got off at the wrong floor still. Bang. You go and you enter still, park your car. Unfamiliar cars are around you. All right, cool. Maybe you still texting, who knows, about the fuck that you about to get. And you get off and now you walk into your apartment. So now you walk to an apartment that has a rug outside that does not belong to you. So you mean to tell me the burglar put a rug outside that doesn't belong to you outside your own apartment and it plant? Now you go inside. Here's another fact. The black man is there inside of his apartment eating a bowl of ice cream. Innocently, no harm to you. Let's agree on this. If I'm sitting there eating a bowl of ice cream and you ask me, what are you doing in my place? I'll say, dude, I'm in my place. The person who's overhearing the conversations, that's the neighbor. Let's not even factor him in. Okay? But he is somebody that overheard your conversation with him and now he's dead. That's a fact.
Can I say something?
No, but I'm not done yet either. Because now he's sitting, he's unarmed, he's in his night clothes or whatever he's in eating a bowl of ice cream and you have shot him. You didn't call for backup. You didn't ask him what he's doing there. Who knows what you did? But what you did do was act harmfully, willingly, and murder someone. So now you got convicted for that. This conversation is not about the time that you got convicted for. It's about the reaction of black people. My conversation here today is about, and to stick to what my conversation is about, is the reaction of the black people today that have no spiritual sense of being to understand that you have to, I want to finish what I'm saying. You have no sense of being, of self, to understand that what has gone on here, justice was dealt, quote unquote, but what has continued. This is why I brought the elder in here today to talk, because he is somebody that has seen, experienced this and that. We cannot ignore the fact that these people still exist and are trying to tell us and send a clear message.
Let me ask you a
Pay
question.
close attention to what is happening around you, your sons, your daughters, everyone. Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray.
Let me ask you a question. Every black man who has baggy pants, who has a face mask over his face, is he going to rob us? No, right? We're taught that doesn't matter. Doesn't mean he's going to do it. Just because in the past that cops have done this. Yes, I'm a person who I don't mess with the police, all right? So anytime someone gets killed, I'm right there like this. There's
We
certain
ain't talking
situations-
about-
No, there's certain situations where I can look at stuff and be like, I can see how this can happen. I'm being a logical thinking person who's like, yo.
Who's illogical,
I'm not
though?
saying you're not logical. I'm saying it could happen to any one of us.
That's right, and we
are
have to try to
we're
stop
all
it from happening
but we're
that
all
way.
coming together like our shit don't stink. Like we can't be in that